And we are hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of This is Tech Talks. And today we have a really special guest, Ankit, joining us, and we will be talking about Blazor. And I have my co-host with me, Jay. Hey Jay, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing great. How are you, Ankit? It's really late in India, and thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Santosh. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, I'm really excited to talk to you guys. And it's about 10 p.m. I have just finished my dinner, and now I'm energetic, as always.
Great.
It's like 8 a.m. for me.
Cool.
Work hasn't even started yet.
So three different time zones, right?
Yeah.
I just
Yes.
finished my office, and now Ankit has finished his dinner, and Jay is about to have his breakfast. So
This is so cool. Yeah, this is so cool.
Yeah,
uh,
totally.
this is called yeah.
Yeah. So
Cool.
forewarning, I know literally nothing about Blazor. Nothing whatsoever.
Yeah.
No
Yeah,
idea.
after 30 minutes, you are going to change this statement. I am sure about that.
Good.
That's
Good.
cool.
Cool. So,
It,
give us an introduction to what Blazor
Yeah,
is then. Like for the rest of us that have no idea what it is, what is Blazor?
Okay, so Blazor is a framework which allows us to build client-side UI using C Sharp. That is a short description. So Blazor you are not dependent on JavaScript. You can write C Sharp code and run it in the browser. And Blazor is a single-page application framework. It allows you to share server-side and client-side logic, which is written in the .NET. So it's a completely based out of .NET. It is developed and managed by Microsoft. However, Blazor is open source. Blazor renders the UI as HTML and CSS, and it is supported by all the browser, including the mobile browser. We can also host it on multiple platforms such as Docker and other hosting platforms. Now, the advantage of using .NET on client side is that you can write code in C Sharp instead of JavaScript. So that is one advantage. On backend, you have C Sharp for APIs. On frontend, you have C Sharp for UI. So it's a single .NET platform across different stacks. So if you are already a .NET developer, you don't have to learn any JavaScript. You can directly write C Sharp. So, and you can also leverage the existing .NET ecosystem of libraries. You can share app logic across server and client. You can take advantage of .NET performance, visibility, and security. The whole .NET ecosystem is up to you, and you can take advantage of them. So that is short description of Blazor.
Cool. So,
Okay,
what's
I am feeling a
your
bit hot. Let me open this jacket. Okay.
So what's your experience with Blazor? Do you like you're an Angular GDE, but do you use
Mhm.
Blazor on a daily basis, or is it just something that you work on side projects with, or like how did you get involved with Blazor?
Okay, so I have been a .NET developer throughout my life. I started my career as a developer with .NET Tech Stack. So I have worked with backend on ASP.NET MVC, ASP.NET Web Forms, and SQL Server. And when Blazor comes, I started working on right away the next day. So probably I was the first person in the world to write an article on Blazor within 24 hours of Blazor getting announced in NDC. Oslo. I think NDC is National Developer Conference. I think it was announced in NDC Oslo in 2017. I am not sure about the year. 2007, no, 2018. And in the same, after 2 days, I published the article on Blazor. And since it was based on C Sharp, and the beauty of Blazor is that I always tell this to the new developer. As you said that you don't know anything about developer. The question is, if you know C Sharp, you know Blazor. That's it. There is absolute no learning curve. A C Sharp developer can start working on Blazor right now. So that was very good point for me because I was already a C Sharp developer, and when Blazor comes, it was a very natural for me to move to Blazor for any client side development. At that point of time, I was not working on Angular. I was working on jQuery and JavaScript.
Cool.
Now,
So
most of the time, I use Blazor for my side projects and learning only.
cool. But you write Angular on like a daily basis for your job?
Yes, Angular is for job and Blazor is for side projects.
For fun.
Yeah,
Blazor for fun.
he
Yes,
has
for
to
fun.
otherwise. Yeah, I think he has to. Otherwise, Alex will be really angry. So he works with Alex if you don't know.
So I have a pretty cool meme I have created for myself, where there is a pretty cool meme when you see there was one guy going with a girl, and he was looking at other girl. The guy, so I put myself at that guy, and the girl with me is angry. I'm looking at Blazor.
Nice, nice. Okay, so for a newbie like me, what's the difference between ASP.NET and the Razor engine versus Blazor?
Okay, so ASP.NET Razor is a syntax. A lot of people got confused. Razor is not a framework; it's a syntax, the way of writing code. Whereas Blazor is a complete framework. And Blazor, and if you compare Blazor with the older version of .NET or ASP.NET web forms, also Blazor provides you single page application framework. It has component structure, so you can since you guys already know about Angular, so we have component based structure. We can have input, output. We can have internationalization. We can have events talking between two components. We can write our code into separate component, make it modular. We have lazy loading. All those features are provided by the Blazor component, but these were not present in the earlier version of .NET, right? So that is how it is different. It's just entirely different as a framework. For a SPA framework, we can say that.
Cool, sweet.
Yeah.
So, Santosh, did you have a question? No. No. Okay.
Nope.
Cool. I'll just keep rolling on then. So I know that there's some kind of connection between WebAssembly and Blazor. So first, what is WebAssembly? Because some people might not actually know what WASM is. WASM is the acronym for
Yes.
WebAssembly. And how does that fit in with Blazor and its framework?
Okay. So WebAssembly, which is abbreviated as WASM, WASM, it is a low-level assembly-like language, and it has a compact binary format, and it can run on all modern browsers. So it is suitable for compilation on the web because it is portable and it is size efficient, and its load time is very less. But the point is, since it is assembly level language, it cannot be read or written by human. However, we can compile the code from any other high level language such as C# in WebAssembly to facilitate its execution on the browser. However, one important point to note is WebAssembly is not different from JavaScript. WebAssembly is a subset of JavaScript. It is designed to run alongside JavaScript. It allows us to run code written in any high-level language on browser at a native speed. So when I say any high-level language, you can write code in C, for example, and run on browser. So that is what the Blazor is doing. So
Cool.
in case of Blazor, the Blazor code is converted to WebAssembly and then it runs on browser. Now, and one important point here is that it is supported by all browsers without the use of any external plugins. So it is supported on a natively. So you don't have to download anything. You don't have to do any kind of setup in your browser. It will run as an open web standard.
Cool. Okay, so building on that, then we have a question in the chat. How about DOM access with Blazor? Can WebAssembly access the DOM directly, or are there some JavaScript bindings that are shipped with the Blazor compiled framework that communicate between WASM and JS and then to the DOM?
Okay, WebAssembly cannot directly access the DOM. So for this purpose, there is a concept called JavaScript Interoperability, which in short can be said as JavaScript Interrupt. So JavaScript Interrupt allows you to invoke C# function from JavaScript and JavaScript from C#. One important point here is that we are not going 100% away from JavaScript when we are using Blazor. Blazor still allow you to do DOM manipulation by JavaScript. You can write JavaScript code, but you can execute it from C#. You can call those functions, you can pass your argument, you can receive some argument. So all those things can happen via JavaScript interoperability. That is called JavaScript interrupt. And also, as Anuradha is asking, how DOM access actually works. So this is a concept of render tree. So like it's very difficult to explain, on text. Like so, all the change is mapped to the backend. So this is a kind of render tree where UI change is communicated to your Blazor code. Blazor will check all for the changes. Something similar to change detection in Angular, if you can say, roughly similar to, not exactly. And when all the changes are checked on the Blazor side, and then the changes are sent back to the client, on the browser, and then the change will be rendered over here on the DOM. That is
Oh,
how the whole things work.
so change detection happens on the server then. So the client is essentially just the presentation layer. Everything else happens.
No, not server. I would not say server.
Oh, okay.
I would say the Blazor code.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Sorry, I misunderstood there. I thought that there was, network requests going out to.
No, there is a different concept over there. So since you have asked, so I will explain that also. So in Blazor, there is something, there is a concept called hosting model. So in case of hosting model, there are two hosting model defined in Blazor. One hosting model is called Blazor WebAssembly. Another hosting model is called Blazor Server. So let us understand the difference. Blazor WebAssembly is a true single-page application framework. When you run a Blazor application, it's shipped as a single-page application. It can run offline, and the whole .NET assemblies get downloaded to the browser, compiled over there into WebAssembly, and run on the browser. And if network connection goes down, the SPA will work because it's a single-page application. So as it happens in any other SPA framework. However, there is a problem. The problem is the whole .NET assembly is getting downloaded in the browser, and .NET assembly is huge in size. Hence, Blazor WASM has huge size, and it is not performance efficient. That is the one problem.
Right.
Now, to tackle this problem, we have another hosting model that is called Blazor Server. What happens in case of Blazor Server is all the complex logic, all the rendering, all the complex logic kept on the server side, not on the client side. Okay, everything runs on the server, and there is a connection from the client using Signal R. So, do you guys know Signal R?
Yeah.
So Signal R, yeah. So yeah, a lot of people don't know. So Signal R is a kind of it's a kind of connection. It will allow you to connect between multiple clients. So using Signal R, Signal R is a technology developed and managed by Microsoft also only. So the connection happens over Signal R. Now the advantage is that since the .NET and all its logic stays on the server, the .NET assembly does not get downloaded to the browser. Therefore, the size is less, rendering it fast. However, the problem is this is not a true single-page application framework. If network goes down, this Signal R connection is closed, and your app will not work.
Right.
So that is currently we are dealing with.
Cool. Okay, so then with the Blazor server hosting model, is there any impact on the performance of this? I guess for both models, shipping the whole Blazor.NET framework or the Blazor server, what's the difference in terms of performance for them? I think we're referring to rendering performance here, probably.
Yeah, exactly. So since in case of Blazor WebAssembly, the whole .NET assembly get downloaded to the client, the initial size is low, the bundle size is more, the initial loading time is bit more. And bundle size is sometimes runs into MBs. Like for a basic simple application, also the bundle size is 1 or 2 MBs. A very basic simple application. But in case of Blazor server, the bundle size is less than 500 KBs or even less for basic application. So that is one thing. However, if you look at the performance after working after loading, in that case, Blazor WebAssembly is faster because everything is already downloaded to the client. But in case of Blazor server, there is a backend server included. One more problem with Blazor server is See, I will not say Blazor WASM is good or Blazor server is good. Both of them have their own utility, and based on the condition you should be using. In case of Blazor server, there is one problem. As I said that there is a Signal R connection between client and server. So you have to also look at scaling. If there are 1 million people hitting my website, how I am going to handle that Signal R connection from the client to server? And what if out of 1 million people, let's say 10% have bad bandwidth? And in that case, I have to maintain the state also from the client to server. So all these things, all this complexity comes into the picture. So considering all these, pros and cons, you should decide which one you want to use in your application.
Makes sense. Okay, so now another pro-con question. What are the pros and cons of Blazor AOT compilation? This one's from Lars.
Can you please come again?
What are the pros and cons of Blazor AOT like ahead of time compilation? I think probably referring to the Blazor WASM side, which we kind of already talked about, not the Blazor server.
Yeah, Blazor IO type compilation will make your app more fast. I have not explored this AOT compilation in detail. Maybe I have explored but don't know the term. That can be a scenario. Sometimes terms keep on changing. So when Blazor server was released, it was called server side Blazor. Now they have renamed it to Blazor server. So terms keep on changing. So I believe in case Lars is asking about Blazor Wasm only. I believe that, and that is what as you tell we have already discussed.
Cool. Yeah, so Lars has a clarifying point for us here. He says, Blazor server renders the DOM server side and transmit a DOM diff to the browser when interaction or state changes occur. So this would, I guess it depends, but it could be better performance if you have massive like DOM diffs, right?
Yes,
if you have the server processing the changes rather than your browser's main thread kind of thing.
Yes.
Yeah. Cool.
So in case of Blazor server, all the hard work, or I will say the complexity, will be handled by the server, and you only have to maintain the connection between the client and the server, and client will just act as a face.
That makes sense.
That is how is how it works.
That's really cool. That's really cool. Okay, so I think we already talked about this, but I just want to clarify just because some people might be confused. How is C# code understood by the browser? It's by compiling it down to Wasm, WebAssembly, and then shipped it by the browser, correct?
No, yeah. What we talked about is kind of half information. I would say I will just give you a set of instructions. So what happens is when a Blazor WebAssembly run and built into the server, all the C# code and files are compiled to .NET assemblies. Then this .NET assemblies and the .NET runtime are downloaded to the browser. So it is important to know that we are downloading .NET runtime called Mono in the browser. And that is one of the reasons that since we are downloading the assemblies and runtime both in the browser, the initial load time is faster. Sorry, initial load time is slow and the load size is more. So after that, the Blazor WebAssembly bootstrap the .NET runtime, and then it configures the runtime to load the assemblies for the app. And as I mentioned about JavaScript Interrupt earlier, the Blazor WebAssembly runtime then uses JavaScript Interrupt to handle DOM manipulation and the API calls. So that is how the whole process of Blazor WebAssembly works in browser.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay, so now that we've talked about how Blazor works and how it's compiled and all that kind of stuff, why would I choose Blazor over other JavaScript frameworks? Like Angular, React, Vue, all of the other million of them.
Okay, so there are multiple reasons for that. First of all, I want to clarify that a lot of people say that Blazor is JavaScript killer and all that. That is just useless information. JavaScript is here to stay. Blazor is here to stay along with WebAssembly. So nobody is going to kill anyone. Both will coexist together, right? We have C#, Java, both coexist, right? So similarly, Blazor will also coexist. Now, why should I use Blazor? It's a very good question. As I told in the initial at the start of the talk, is that when Blazor was released, I was already working as a .NET developer. So moving to Blazor was very, very easy for me, right? If you know C#, you know Blazor. That is it. You don't need. It's like you hardly need 1 week if you already know C#, because all the C# tooling is already available for you in Blazor. Now, if you have worked on .NET, you know that one of the best IDE is Visual Studio, which we use for Blazor. We can use other IDEs also. It's not specific to any IDE. So all the toolings like Visual Studio is available to you. You can use the complete .NET runtime and .NET assembly. You can use Entity Framework on client side. I have used it. You can use Entity Framework to sort the things. If you're using if you have a let's say an array and you want to select some data based on some logic, then you can use Entity Framework logics directly over there. So whole logic reside in the C# itself. So all the tooling is available to you, and that is one of the reasons you have to use you use Blazor. One important point which I find is that it allows you to share code between client and server. What does this mean is, you have working on Angular, so you know that whenever we have to get an object from the API, I need to create a DTO, right? And that DTO is already created by the backend team also. Now there is a code duplication in the whole project. In case of Blazor project contains of a Blazor shared project, And in the shared project, whatever you code you write can be shared by your client and server both. So you can use only one model, only one DTO object at both client and server side. So it will give you it's so simple to manage the code. You don't have to change at two places as compared to any other framework. The whole thing reside into one ecosystem, .NET ecosystem. So that is the advantage.
Cool.
Mhm.
Great. Okay, so now talk about the ecosystem. Does Blazor have an equivalent to Electron so that you can, build desktop apps?
Yes. So it is still in development. We have something called Blazor Mobile, I guess. Let me search Blazor Mobile. I don't remember the exact name.
Mhm.
You might know it and put it in
Something
the
like
chat.
Blazor Mobile or something. I don't remember. Yeah, Blazor Mobile or something is there. I don't remember the exact name. So it got released as
Mhm.
part of .NET 6, which was released recently. It allows you to create desktop application, and it is built on top of .NET MAUI. MAUI stands for Multi-Platform App UI, MAUI. Multi-platform app UI. So since it is built on top of my MAUI, you can use Blazor to create apps also. That is still not supported, I believe, but in future the plan is something like that. So you will write Blazor, create mobile apps which will run on Android, iOS, and
Mhm.
other platforms also. So this part, the Electron and MAUI part, is still in very very early stage. But it looks like the Blazor team is working on it, and in future they are going to support it.
Nice. Sweet. That's exciting.
So, one question from me. Sorry, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
So, one question from me, Ankit. So, I mean, I don't understand this. I mean, if I see .NET as a platform, I mean, even as a Microsoft as a company, they are investing heavily in supporting React Native, and then they are saying, okay, there will be something called Blazor Mobile as well. What is your thought on that?
I think we need to talk to Satya Nadella on this. I have no idea. So okay. One thing is, Blazor. This is told by the Blazor team. I don't remember when or where, but the Blazor team is very small as of now, and uh, and the pace is not as much as any other framework. So at this point also, I don't think Blazor is in comparison with any other evolved UI like React, evolved platform like React or Angular. It still has some shortcomings. There are some problems over there. So they are still working on it. So by that time, Microsoft is working on React. They cannot stop, right? So, but I believe in future they are going to move to Blazor because everything will be in one ecosystem, in one place. It will make them easy to manage the things.
Mhm.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Cool. So
Yeah.
last question I've got anyway is what's the current state of Blazor? Is it production ready? Are people using it in production, or is it still kind of working its way towards being used?
Yes, so Blazor is already production ready. It is supported by the Microsoft team. They have already informed and published it as a production ready framework. There are few people I know via a community where they are using it in their production apps. There are few websites also which use Blazor server for as the in production. So it is already available. It is already being used in production by a lot of people. Now, I also want to add that at this point of time, Blazor is not ready to handle complexities or create complex application. For example, let's say React. Sorry, let's say not React. Let's say any website like Twitter. You cannot create a Twitter-like website using Blazor. Blazor is just not ready.
Gotcha.
So, but it is going in that direction. We already have lazy loading in Blazor. We have component-based structure in Blazor. So gradually, we will reach there.
Cool.
Nice.
Sweet. Yeah. Santosh, do you have any other questions?
Yep. So, Ankit, what about learning process, right? So, in case someone wants to start with Blazor, what is your preferred way, I mean, to learn Blazor, or what you will suggest to everyone from where they can learn about Blazor?
Okay, so Blazor.net is the official documentation of Blazor. However, official documentation is not always preferred. So you can also refer to my course. I will add a link over here. Just give me a
Ah,
moment. I have created a course which is a complete video course, which will which give you an idea how to create a real world application using Blazor. So it is published by EC Council, and it is available at this link. I am pinging you. You can share it with the people. So you can go and get this course. I have started created this course almost 6 months ago or so. So it is a complete 6 hour course or something, and you can learn Blazor from scratch, from zero to hero series.
oh, nice.
Cool. There you go.
Okay.
So if
We'll also
you
we'll
want to
also
get started, there's your link.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll also add it to video description later on, so anyone can refer it.
Mhm.
So Ankit,
And
apart from this, any yeah, sure, go ahead.
yeah,
No, no, go
I
ahead,
am
please.
also, you can also look at my GitHub here, where I
Hmm.
have created a lot of projects on Blazor. I think more than 20 projects. I keep updating them, and currently I forgot to write one said one thing. Currently, I'm writing a series of article on using Blazor and GraphQL. So how you can use
Oh,
GraphQL as a query language to fetch data from Blazor, and I am using SQL Server as database entity framework for as an ORM, and on front end we are using GraphQL to fetch the data. So this is a series of article which I will be writing. So the first part of series is already published. The other three or four parts will be there. I am not sure about the number of parts, but probably three or four will be there, which will be published in next 2 months or so. So you can learn again, it will be a real world application. It will have authentication, authorization, state management, everything.
oh, okay. That's really great. So go ahead and follow Ankit on his Twitter handle. He'll be sharing all those amazing blogs he will be writing in future. So Ankit, any so Lars has a question. Hope you can help, and if you can also help, I mean, help us as well to how can we meet Satya Nadella?
It's very simple. See, what you have to do is just you can ping him on Twitter if his DM is open. Otherwise, you can tag him. You can send cold DMs. And Lars is already a Microsoft MVP. Talk to Scott Hanselman. He's sitting and drink. Scott Hanselman is sipping tea with Satya Nadella. So just use your networks, Lars. It's simple.
Oh man, cool.
Mm.
Well,
Yeah.
thanks for
Jay,
So
joining.
I have a
Ankit,
question for
eh,
you. Now I have a
sorry
question for
for.
Jay. So Jay, tell me. So
Uh,
Jay, tell me, what is Blazor?
What is Blazor? It is a WebAssembly web framework.
Exactly. Now you know Blazor, right? So
I know.
I want you to I want you to start working on Blazor. If you are really interested, you will be very interested to see that how easy it is to get started.
Great. Well, next time I have some free time, maybe I'll investigate it.
Yeah, sure.
Cool. So Ankit, anything you want to promote on this channel?
I am promoting myself, Ankit Sharma, the superstar
Yeah, I mean,
of community.
you can do that. I mean, just give a shout out to yourself. That's absolutely fine. So where people can
Yeah,
follow, where people can see your work.
you can follow
Yeah,
me on
absolutely fine.
Twitter, LinkedIn. Twitter and
Mhm.
LinkedIn, my DMs are also open. You can talk to me. You can connect with me if you want to discuss anything related to tech. I work mostly on front end and back end. Sometimes on back end, mostly on front end, Angular and Blazor both. On back end, I work on .NET. Sometime on SQL Server as a database. So I am a kind of full stack developer. I want to I want to be independent. I don't want any other people to write APIs for me. I will write my own APIs.
That's
So
great.
that is a
So
plan. Yeah.
yeah. So Ankit is kind of 10x developer. Can we say that?
What?
10x developer?
Can you come again? No. I am not
10x.
10x developer. No, I am not a 10x developer.
Okay.
I am just a developer. That's it.
Yeah, cool. So Lars has something. Yeah. So there is Battle of Frameworks which happened last year. So last
I
asked
don't
question if you
know.
want to represent
Okay.
Blazor. No, it's okay. I mean, you don't have to know about it, but in case you want to represent
Okay.
Blazor, reach out to Lars. I mean,
So.
he can connect you with the organizers. So last year, I think it was between React, Angular, and one more Vue, and
Mhm.
uh, so
So
Angular
what I
won
am
because
supposed to do there?
you have to just talk about what what Blazor is, and you have to like
Mhm.
on few points. They will. I mean, you can just reach out to Lars. He will tell you more.
Okay, cool. That
I
sounds
really
cool.
like the
Yeah.
concept. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
So
That's
anything
cool.
else?
That is cool. I will do that. I will do that.
Yeah.
I will
So
definitely do it.
quote of the day: Scott Hanselman is sipping tea with Satya. So we
This is
should
true.
actually
You
we are going to take the screenshot.
take a screenshot, put my name that I have said this thing, that Scott Anserman is sipping tea with Satya and
Wow.
Lars want to meet Satya. Those two should be. Lars,
Awesome.
if you drink tea, you should start drinking tea if you're not already.
Yeah,
Good. Good.
and shout out from Lars. So he says Ankit is my favorite speaker. Of course, I'll have to talk
Yes.
Ankit, to speak to Ankit. Yeah,
Yeah.
for me,
Yeah.
yes.
Totally.
Speaking is my superpower.
I know. I know better than anyone. So
Yes, you know better than anyone.
cool. So anything from you, Jay, before we wrap up?
No, no, I think we're all good. Thanks for coming, Ankit. That was fun. I learned a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. I just want to add one more thing. Three Angular GT is discussing about Blazor.
Yeah.
That is fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
now,
This is
now,
still
if
live.
you
Don't.
want, no. I will add
Yeah.
one more thing. Three Angular GT is
Yeah. Sure.
discussing about Blazor. Use this line in Battle of Frameworks. Blazor will definitely win. What else you need? What else you need? And Mr. Santosh, do not drink water when I am talking. Otherwise, you will, this thing can happen because when I talk, you all generally laugh.
Uh,
so,
great.
this is the thing, and that's how Blazor wins.
Yeah. Cool, no problem. So, anyways, so that's it for the day. Ankit, it was fun to have you. Thanks, Jay, and we will meet again next week, and
Yes.
where we are going to have a discussion about this application security, where Liren Dal is joining us. He is a GitHub star as well as he is very active in the security community. So we'll learn from him how we can actually secure our application. And see you next week. Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Bye.
Yeah.